think it's just something different. I mean, there's a lot of truckers around, but they're mostly doing.
Lisa Kelly became the tough symbol she is today because of the snowy roads, daring adventures, and devastating tragedies that shaped her life. On Ice Road Truckers, she captured hearts as a trailblazing truck driver, navigating the hazardous snowy roads of Canada and Alaska. She became well known for being a fearless truck driver, but like many, she has faced the challenges that came with fame and suffered some tragic losses. Eager to find out? Then keep watching. The Girl Who Defied the Ice. No woman could survive this path, people said, but Lisa Kelly said, I can. Raised on a farm in Alaska, Lisa slowly found her interest behind the wheel. From winning motocross races to hauling oversized oil field rigs with effortless steering, Lisa displayed grit, talent, and hard work. In 2009, she burst into the third season of Ice Road Truckers and brought a record-breaking number of views with her. Lisa's appearance cemented her fame and respect among other truckers and fans. Her audiences were instantly captivated watching her combined display of grit and hard work as she steered a 100-feet pipe while racing from the frozen Arctic Ocean to Prudhoe Bay. She became a novelty, a force. Yet despite her display of bravery and passion, she was dismissed as eye candy in the truckers' world. But Lisa stood firm, facing the naysayers and breaking barriers for women in the ice truckers community. The trailblazer. In the early days of December 1980, Lisa Kelly was born to a warm family living in Grand Rapids, Michigan. 6 years later, that family relocated and settled on a farm in Sterling, Alaska. Perhaps influenced by the exposure to the field life, Lisa described herself as a tomboy. But honestly, Lisa was more than a tomboy. She was phenomenal. She mastered motocross, horseback riding, skydiving, and even hang gliding. It was no coincidence that Lisa had found herself doing all these things. She had a natural talent for them all. Pronounced a state freestyle motocross champion once, Lisa soon realized what she felt wasn't just the thrill of winning, but the thrill of speed and adrenaline too powerful to ignore. Of course, she had suppressed it, the fire, the urge to be on the highway. She tried college, tried studying, but it didn't work. After a brief semester at Cornerstone University, Lisa dumped college life and returned to Alaska. There she drifted through jobs at gas stations and pizza delivery until she was reminded of her first love. Lisa got to work like a wake-up call, earning her first commercial license for driving school buses. It is almost laughable how the future of an outstanding trucker began with driving children. With the license, Lisa landed an entry-level position at Carlisle Transportation, and then her journey to greatness began. Carlisle Transportation was not her highest point, but she encountered outright skepticism in a place that could barely contain her energy. But this prepared her for the skepticism she'd later encounter with History Channel producers. "We picked you for eye candy," they'd told her. But when Lisa heard this, she said the world, "No, I'm more than that, and I'm going to prove that." She worked to prove she was better than what they thought of her. That season, Ice Road Truckers 2009, Lisa Kelly made her debut on the Dalton Highway as the youngest and sole female trucker on the Alaskan highway. Lisa traveled 149 LED back-to-back ice crossings between Fairbanks and Prudhoe Bay effortlessly and won hearts. That year, the show pulled in nearly 3,500,000 viewers nationwide, with Lisa quickly emerging as a fan favorite. They admired her unfiltered toughness. Even on screen, she exuded discipline, a woman of tough character. In an interview with Overdrive in 2022, Lisa shared that she wasn't just pushed by discipline but also by her fans, men and women. Her ability to inspire others to reach their potential made her work harder. An article written by Looper commended Lisa's bravery. She was noted for novelty and appearing in many seasons of a show involving many risks. She didn't just participate, she earned the respect of fans in the process. She transported oversized pipes, heavy oil rigs, and 100-foot loads across the tundra and mountain edges on the red rails and ice bridges. When interviewers asked if this was the usual standard for rookies, George Spears instantly warned rookies, "You learn the road fast or you end up dead." For Lisa to have taken on that much load with excellence, she had separated herself from the rookie and the amateur drivers. She was no longer a regular trucker. She had become the spotlight for female drivers aspiring to be truckers. But that was when Lisa encountered her first backlash online, which was unrelenting. It started like every other celebrity jab, but Lisa was soon labeled the dumb blonde. Surprisingly, trolls on the internet dissected her every move, even though her profession had nothing to do with her personal life. In one of Lisa's recent interviews, she confirmed that some of these comments hurt her. "Nothing in my life is private anymore," she said. "People don't realize you're a person, not a character on TV." When their negativity began affecting Lisa's mind, her husband, Travis, urged her to let it roll off, but she said their comments cannot be me. Ignoring the noise, her brakes on the trucks remained unwavering. "I'm not trying to be better than the boys. I want to do my job." It was a statement that should have been applauded as simple, but nothing was simple when a force was involved. Lisa's statement became a declaration that resonated everywhere. In online forums, Fairbanks Diners debate tables were set to discuss the essence of a woman who refused to be boxed in. By the end of Ice Road Truckers Season 3, Lisa had earned more than a fan following. She had proven her skill worthy of respect, and her grit defined her on the driving range. But we all know every career has its cracks, especially one that comes with thrill and unseen costs. Let's quickly dive into the chilling success moments of Lisa Kelly. Lisa's journey from a rookie to a talked-about legend unfolded through unpredictable events over multiple seasons of Ice Road Truckers. In each chapter, Lisa faced risks that only added to the thrill that kept her going. She looked like another driver behind the wheel, but there was something different about her. Lisa's debut. Lisa's debut on Ice Road Truckers Season 3 became a phenomenal success that led to Seasons 4 and 5. In the new seasons, Lisa did not relent on hauling heavier loads. Her routes extended farther into Canada. In Season 4, Lisa had taken on more tasks, handling supply runs to remote communities like Oxford House, Redsucker Lake, and Victoria Beach in Manitoba and Ontario. Lisa became a grounded beast in the truckers' world in Season 5. Dedicated to her craft, Lisa became a champ trucker known to haul a heavy convoy from Anchorage via Glen and George Parks highways. And she did all these before joining the Dalton Highway. Lisa finally exited the show in Season 12, standing in the Hall of Fame as one of the few truckers who survived the ice road that long. From 2009 to 2017, the Canadian-American co-production of Ice Road commended Lisa's bravery for taking on the road despite its slippery slope. Not to prove her already successful career, Lisa decided that Alaska's challenges were no longer tough, so she took to the Himalayas in Ice Road Truckers' Deadliest Roads. By the end of the first season, released in 2010, Lisa had found her grip on the narrow mountain passes in India. When Lisa began the journey, history was presented. She was told she would not make it, but Lisa broke all barriers and became the only North American to complete the trip. Next, Lisa looked towards the notorious Death Road in the Andes as if this was enough to cement her skills. The roads in the Andes were deemed so dangerous that drivers quit before arrival. Close calls. The memory of the Andes expedition was so daunting and intense that the whole world sat on pins. When her truck failed on a Salt Lake crossing, we thought we had seen the last of Lisa Kelly, but then she bounced back and fixed a water hose with a minute to spare before sub-zero night swallowed her. This would not be the first time Lisa had a scare. The ice roads are unforgiving, and an ice trucker's career would not be complete without an encounter or two. In Season 3 of Ice Road Truckers, Lisa faced her first major scare on Adigan Pass during an oversized pipe haul, skirting an edge that could have sent her over a cliff. Season 4 brought a new slide to fear when she slid into a ditch to avoid a plow. As already established, a trucker's life is filled with thrill and adrenaline, but there must be memories of when fear was behind the wheel, too. It wasn't just another Hollywood interview or another day on the ice roads. In 2013, Lisa, for the first time, admitted to her struggles with loneliness and exhaustion. It was inevitable. Long days at Fairbanks brought about peaceful solitude, but soon became silence too loud to ignore. Lisa said podcasts and audiobooks were her way of reconnecting with the world whenever she felt this way. But when facing life-threatening situations, you need more than just audiobooks. For Lisa, returning to the only thing she knew was the only way to live. When the silence was so loud she could no longer bear it, Lisa would hop into the truck for her special me time. But oftentimes, she was stuck between having a special moment and being on camera. The pressure of reality TV was another challenge Lisa had in her career. She noted that scenes needed to have life, arcs, and twists. Lisa admitted that sometimes she was told to deliberately perforate ice to stage a near fall, only to witness a real castmate fall in the same spot. Producers often prompted her to say things that were not very Lisa, as she was told she'd been cast partly as eye candy. Most of Lisa's challenges stemmed from refusing to play dumb because real lives were involved. Over time, the price of success came knocking at her door. The Himalayan mission was a success. By the end of season 5, Lisa had already established her name in people's hearts. However, speculations began when season 6 began in 2012 because Lisa had sat out the season. Although producers clarified that she chose to step away, exhausted by dual filming schedules, her fans were sure Lisa didn't return because of a fallout or a contract dispute. Later in an interview, Lisa clarified that truly combining Ice Road Truckers and Deadliest Road schedules had become crazy and hectic. Her screen time and load counts dipped slightly in the later seasons of the two shows. The reality shifted focus toward new drivers and storylines, but they couldn't fill in the blanks Lisa left. Although Lisa had her battles, the tragic death of her close friend Daryl Ward made it even harder for her to come to TV. He'd been her partner in hauling for many years, and without him, she was left to bear the loss of their shared company. Besides the loss, she also suffered the pressures of fame, dealt with fear, empowerment, and exhaustion. And all of these came with Lisa's successful career. She said that constantly having cameras on her made her feel suffocated sometimes. She felt her freedom had become limited by the constant eyes on her. However, she could endure as long as they provided a platform to uplift others. For Lisa, trucking was more than just thrill, adrenaline, and risk. She described trucking as a family. It eased isolation, but the pressure of being the female face of dangerous ice roads weighed on her deeply. She'd conquered male stereotypes, yet often, the realization that she was representing every woman in a rugged world was a crown too heavy to wear. Withdrawal from the spotlight. After a dominant run through seasons 3 to 5 and 7 to 11 of the Ice Road Truckers, Lisa's absence in season 6, which was released in 2012, puzzled fans. There were rumors that she was fired from the show. However, producer Tom Beers later clarified that she opted out, having felt and dealt with the relentless grind of filming Ice Road Truckers and IRT Deadliest Roads, which had become crazy and hectic, according to her words. However, most people don't know that her choice to step away coincided with the tragic loss of her close friend and business partner Daryl Ward, whose death in a plane crash in 2016 completely overturned her world. Her break wasn't just contractual, it was emotional. Fans expected her return in season 7 of the show, but after years of waiting, she never returned. Her screen time had shrunk, and the spark that once defined her began to flicker when she did appear. There were rumors that part of her reason for leaving the show was the burnout she was facing and the creative tension that swirled behind the scenes. Some industry insiders speculated that she and the producers clashed over how her story was being framed, especially after she openly criticized being cast as eye candy. Lisa Kelly was not just the narrow archetype. They say she refused to let the show's producers dictate her narrative, especially when it downplayed her skill and grit. Yet she confessed in rare moments that there were days when she couldn't breathe. While there has been no formal interview to confirm the deeper details, there were hints that emerged in her interviews where she admitted to dealing with spiraling anxiety and exhaustion, which was a result of endless filming, isolation, and pressure to live up to a particular public image and standard. These pressures began to take a toll on her mental health. Behind the TV screens, Lisa began to speak openly about how the weight of expectation has affected her. She described the suffocating isolation she felt while waiting on remote roads. Also, she admitted that although she loved her time behind the wheel, the camera crews made her feel much suffocated. Her emotional honesty clashed with the demands of reality TV and an industry that prized toughness over vulnerability, and ultimately her commitment to the show started to fade. Her enthusiasm for trucking status quo faded as her commitment faded. As a result of the industry's setup, especially for a public icon, they resented those wanting a balance between life and work. She pointed out that only a few women were truck drivers, a figure she found worrying but unsurprising given the lack of support, respect, and practical accommodations. And so, her days of being exploited by the camera were gone. Instead, she now spoke of the burdens she was dealing with, such as frequently missing her home, the stress of lifelong heavy loads and tight schedules, and a stark difference between television glamour and absolute life solitude. Also, the weight of her loss bore heavily on her. Daryl Ward's death in 2016 shook the community and Lisa personally. Other than being friends, they had co-founded a trucking venture and often logged grueling hours together. After his passing, she took some time to grieve, saying that the tragedy forced her to pause and reflect, and that she didn't want the cameras around at such a grieving time. For years, the cameras never showed Lisa's voice echoing in empty cabs between ice-cracked mirrors. Her public image as Alaska's fearless trucker clashed with private battles, and though she had tried to hide it throughout the show, the cracks were becoming more visible. She was often asked, "Why aren't you smiling more?" Every time she responded to that question, "Because the road is trying to kill me." When she hinted at breaks due to panic attacks she was facing and breathing difficulties, her fans heard a voice of restraint, not promotional glam. Her absence from the camera spoke volumes that she had run out of room to perform, and that the real weight of her life was too heavy for scripting. Even after these years, Lisa remains conflicted. In recent interviews, she praised TV for the platform it offered her, but also lamented that it turned people into 2D characters who were being compressed for TV arcs. She mentioned that she loved the freedom of driving during a podcast interview, saying, "It's just hanging out with cool people," but paradoxically, it made her feel even more alone once the camera crews left. She recognized that stepping back from that world meant giving up her fame, but she couldn't risk her sanity or soul. She said, "Trucking must be a job you can do for a career, but it's hard to get women into it without reform." Lisa's silence resonated louder than any CB radio static. Her journey turned inward and became a search for authenticity, healing, and a way forward in a world that once cheered her every mile. A life on thin ice. Away from the pressure of the cameras and paparazzi lifestyle, Lisa Kelly's sanctuary was her marriage. She was married to Travis Kelly, a motorcycle mechanic and a native of Aleut, Alaska. Travis remained her steadfast anchor for 4 years throughout her life and career ordeals. They built a quiet life on their modest Wasilla, Alaska property, where they cared for rescue horses and pets like miniature horses Rocky and Tansy, and cherished their time together in these moments.
My Tennessee Walker and Gypsy and my little miniature. Well, I'm not riding him, but
Even with that, Lisa went to greater lengths to keep her private life off camera. On TV screens, she was often portrayed as a bold and outgoing person, but behind the scenes, she found refuge in home life and valued her privacy, being it was her only space outside the reality TV persona. As the face of female grit in a male-dominated industry, she felt the tough weight of expectation. While her audiences praised her toughness, she confessed that the attention it brought had weighed heavily on her mental state. She revealed that she was often asked to be the inspirational figure, and usually found it overwhelming. "There were days I couldn't breathe," she shared during an interview.
to their mind that I'm still a TV star. So it's
The online harassment she faced didn't help either. Lisa often had to deal with trolls who mocked her skill, appearance, and mistakes that usually fueled her self-doubt and chipped away at her sense of worth. The producers overlooked it. She was eye candy to them, and as long as she kept bringing the views in, that's all she would be. Torn between gratitude for her platform and frustration at the caricature she had become, she began to wrestle with her public role and representation. Was she inspiring women into trucking, or just an exploited woman in the industry? Life after the show. When Ice Road Truckers ended in 2017, Lisa expected some relief from the pressures of the show, but instead, she found more chaos. There were no regular jobs for a truck driver. The spotlight dimmed, and with it, her sense of belonging to the community and the identity she'd built did as well. However, she found some solace in endorsements, like when she hosted Chevron's Destination Further series, and also took the time to reconnect with her love for horses. Still, the transition wasn't smooth. The monotony of routine work felt empty compared to the TV rush life she had lived before.
like a whole tack room and a place that I can camp out. This is just like a 3-horse with a small little tack.
Lisa described trucking as a lifeline when she was asked in a podcast, "It's my time. You know, just alone with the road, listening to music and podcasts and seeing the open sky, but without the cameras," she said. Lisa's story mirrored America's love affair with strong women, but it also highlights its failure to nurture them. Her fame inspired countless women to pursue CDLs and dreams beyond gender norms. Yet there was little infrastructure to support them, even when Lisa had often pointed out how the industry had neglected female truckers' needs. Many applauded her courage for standing up and challenging the industry, but a few questioned why a national icon left under silent pressure. Much later, her silence reflected how admiration can turn into neglect when no drama remains to be televised. Lisa spoke candidly in a 2013 interview, saying that trucking kept her grounded, but also left her exhausted and alone. She shared that the solitude that once soothed her had become a burden, and she found herself navigating the vast Alaskan highways while being too aware of the personal sacrifices required. The ice roads demanded more than technical skill. They also needed emotional armor. It wasn't just the road that was icy, Lisa said.
I hate the highways.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, did you drive a lot of highway stuff
I mean,
before?
in the summer.
We can see that through her evolution, Lisa remains conflicted about her legacy. Reality TV gave her a platform and fans, but stripped bits of her spirit. This was seen later in her career. Lisa tried to reignite the fire that was once there and took new endeavors, such as launching a rescue program for horses and pets, attending women trucking events, and using her voice to advocate for mental health. Yet the personal cost lingered.
I do have downtime. I've been really busy doing these truck shows.
She once joked that after years of proving herself, she was not trying to impress anybody anymore. But that declaration hit a deeper ache that most couldn't see. She still longed for a peace she never fully allowed herself to feel. Lisa Kelly's journey on thin ice wasn't just about roads, it was personal. The reality TV star faded from the media sensation and personality into a woman seeking balance, battling inner storms while navigating the real world away from cameras.
So many times that you really kind of get to look at the answer. You say it and you say it.
Fading headlights.